So has it started recording on your guys' end?
Not yet.
There we go. Okay. Okay, so hey Carter, feel free to interrupt me at any point if it's redundant, if you already know this stuff, or if you want to ask any questions. But I'll just run through this really quick. The NRCan Greener Homes Initiative, just to get us all up on the same page here. Are you familiar with the Greener Homes grant?
I am, yeah.
Okay, so I won't spend too much time. But basically, there's $700,000 grants of up to $5,000 to help homeowners improve the efficiency of their homes. And then on top of that, they also can get $600 towards EnerGuide evaluations, which is what Adam and I do. So actually, I should take a quick moment here just to introduce ourselves. So I'm Shannon Gablehouse with the VT group of companies. So that's Acacia Engineering, Vertatech, and Qualistat. And we have a hub in Calgary as well as Edmonton and on the Vancouver Island, and we also have energy advisors across Western Canada. And we're staying quite busy. So my background was alternative energy technology, and then I also did a little six-year stint of organic farming. And now I'm back in the more professional world and trying to make a difference in a different way. So that's me. I also have a background in semi-professional sports. So I played hockey competitively for 20 years. Adam, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Adam Kiss. I also work for the VT group of companies, Vertatech, Qualistat, Acacia. Right now I do full-on energy advising across basically most of central Alberta, going to people's homes and help them get access to grants. My background is same as Shannon, like we were discussing earlier. I have alternative energy technology under my belt. I did some business classes on Red Deer way back when, and I have a solar company on the side that I do as hobbies. I do installs as a hobby, like a side thing to help people get access to that. So just for friends and family. So I'm quite knowledgeable in the solar industry and energy advising and quite a few things. So
yeah, Adam's our go-to solar guy, so that's why he's here. Okay, so basically, as you probably know, homeowners basically need to learn about the initiative, the Greener Homes Grant, and sometimes that's through you guys, the contractors. They need to register and book their pre-retrofit with us. So Acacia or Vertatech are both service organizations that they can book with. And then they need to just keep track of their retrofits. So from a solar perspective, what they're required to keep is, and I'll get Adam to talk more about this, but basically the electrical plan for their array, the type of modules they're using, and the type of inverter that they've got. And we can get into more detail. Then they go ahead and once they've done their upgrades, whatever upgrades they want to have done, they then book their post retrofit evaluation and apply for the grants, and then eventually receive their grants. So in addition to this, now there's the loan program. So that's another component that we're going to talk about, where they gain access to the loan once they have had their pre-retrofit evaluation report uploaded. I'm just going to zoom through here. We know most of this, but basically renewable energy, they can receive up to $5,000. So they can basically max out the grant amount with renewable energies. And then they're eligible for up to $40,000 through the loan program on top of that. And for renewables, they aren't required to have a professional. It's not mandated that they have a professional, but it's highly recommended. Of course, for obvious reasons, when you're dealing with electricity and you're dealing with sizing appropriately, we always recommend that they get you guys to come in to do a pre-solar assessment and then do the actual installation as well. So we talk about solar ready with homeowners often when we go in. So we always recommend that homeowners have a solar company come in to check if their house is solar ready or what needs to happen to make their house solar ready. If the home has not been assessed by a professional or contractor, then, and they're still interested in exploring solar PV, then we try to encourage them to get you guys in before we show up. But either way, we'll talk to them about what we know, and then we always encourage them to talk to a professional before they actually get any upgrades done to make sure that their house is suitable. And then one thing we do require from an installer also is the capacity, the total capacity of the solar array on the house, along with any other specifications required for modeling, which I spoke to a little bit, and Adam will continue to speak about. And this is a little bit more basically. So the solar panels can be mounted on the house or the ground, or even on a granny flat, as long as it's on the same property or the land of the house associated with the application. PV system must be designed and installed in accordance with local building and electrical codes, of course. And then just a little bit about the resiliency grants, because sometimes you guys will be involved in this as well. There is an additional grant that must be combined with another energy efficiency retrofit, such as renewables being installed. So these resiliency measures are like adding battery backup storage for their solar system. There's also other ones, but the main one that I wanted to talk about was this battery backup system. It must be connected to a permanently mounted solar PV. It can be for a new battery system or replacement of existing batteries, or even just additional batteries. But there must be a minimum total capacity of 4,500 watt hours at 20 hours. And it must be rated for deep cycle. Any of the technology that's used must be rated for deep cycle. And it must be permanently installed. So these can't be, electric vehicle batteries or portable batteries. Yeah, I think that's all. And just some extra notes here. The invert and charge controller must be certified to CSA C22.2, 107.1, which is probably pretty standard for the industry. And this is additional resiliency measures, but that's less important for today. So that's it. And I just wanted to give Adam a chance here to talk about, from the energy advisor standpoint, what kind of things he's seeing, and what's being requested by NRCan from the solar companies.
Thanks, Shannon. Good job. Right. So, and my perspective is that, if people are only getting solar, it's kind of maybe a little hassle. They don't want us to come and do a full service for them. And, being an energy advisor, we get, there's a ton of added value. Not like it's not just having solar, we investigate the whole house, air tightness, insulation levels, the quality of your windows, top to bottom. We do a thorough evaluation of the home and as it relates to its energy performance. So, solar is just a cherry on top kind of thing. When, if they're the newer houses, 2014 or newer, and they have a nice roof, windows are good, mechanical systems is good, and we recommend solar basically on every house regardless, so it shouldn't be a problem. Because we do have to recommend something for it to be, so you can get access to the grants on it. That being said, we're trying to streamline the process for all the solar companies out there. As long as we know you could give us a heads up on that, they're going to be getting solar. We can streamline that for you with a few forms and stuff. I'm just going to share my screen for you here. It's Shannon graciously made this drop-off form. So this might be getting attached to bookings that we do, so that it makes it easy for the solar guys. So like when we go to a house, we see it doesn't have solar, we recommend solar. They put solar on their house through you or some other company, and we leave this with the homeowner for them to fill out or give to you to fill out. And it's just a simple form. The manufacturer, like Shannon said, model numbers, if you could help us out with the array area, the roof slope, because you need all this for your design and permitting, right? So usually we can get all this from your single line diagram. but a few things are missing. So we also require a, it would be great to have a layout or a site plan as well with a north arrow so we can get the azimuth for that. I know that I've seen a lot of, you know, single line diagrams or paperwork that didn't have a north arrow. I went to a few houses that didn't have a single line diagram posted up by the electrical panel. So we need that as well. And then of course the final invoice, we need that when we come for our follow-up after the panels are installed. So like this is the one I've been leaving with homeowners for the solar guys to fill out. And it just helps us streamline the process and get things going. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, Kevin's been sending me these to fill out before he goes on his assessment, so pretty familiar with it. Filled out probably a dozen of them before, so it's that I understand how it streamlines the process, and it's kind of hard for the homeowner to fill all that in when they're not as up to speed and knowledgeable on stuff like azimuth, as you mentioned. We use helioscope, so our design software is really good at just pulling all that information and transferring it from the helioscope design just right on that sheet. Takes me a minute, so it's a lot easier than
exactly. That's the thing. It's like it's so much easier just to get it straight from you guys rather than try to communicate this all to the homeowner, and then the homeowner tries to like articulate it to you guys, and it's easier for us just to have it one place. Yeah, that's great. Do you have any questions in particular about like the loan program? Did you want me to go over that?
Yeah, loan specifically. I have a few customers right now that are waiting to hear back. Like obviously the timing of everything, and they had some glitches on the initial rollout. So I'm just wondering if you guys have heard from them as far as any updates, or one customer yesterday told me that they finally heard back that it was going to be 10 days from now or something that they would have an answer in regards to their loan. Because I know a lot of the initial ones they were applying and receiving loans that were under the $5,000 minimum. So it was like, okay, we don't know what's going on here. And we applied for 30,000 and we're getting through like 3,200, but that's not supposed to be allowed. So
oh wow.
Yeah, just if you guys have heard anything in regards to the loan process or application, or is it running smoothly? Or?
I mean, I can tell you what I know, but actually, kind of like the other half of the situation, because we don't really hear, once we've gotten out of there, we don't hear a whole lot unless we're in good contact with the customer. And some of us we're working on getting a better timeline from different customers to understand how this program is rolling out.
Yeah.
But what we do know is that, and Adam, feel free to jump in, but what we know is that basically once we get in there with our pre-upgrade evaluation, the energy advisor then comes back and within a week we get our energy model done and the report done and sent to the client and uploaded to the portal. And then once that's uploaded to the portal, that should trigger the loan program button to be available for the homeowner. So basically within a week of the energy evaluation, they should have access to the application form for the loan program. Following that, everything else is on NRCan side, or CMHC, who's administering the loan program. So that's kind of where you'll be seeing those timelines.
To be a little more clear, that a week, it could be more, like it's usually 2 weeks, and then to get the homeowner their reports, and then the homeowner has to upload them on their portal. We don't upload them anymore.
Okay.
So that's a good piece of information to take down.
Okay, so yeah, maybe they're just waiting for the energy advisor to do it when that's not necessarily your guys' job or responsibility. It's on them once they receive the report to submit it.
And if for the greener homes loan especially, we're prioritizing that and trying to get it out in 5 days. I'm just saying 2 weeks. You never know what happens or timelines happen, but it's a priority. We're prioritizing the loan applicants.
So in the loan too, like you have to show a paid invoice, like you mentioned. So do they have to pay for the system outright initially, and then they get a loan to, I guess, So they need access to the funds regardless, and then the loan just helps them pay that off.
Yeah, they have to supply the bridge funding. So however they want to do that, and even with the timing for you guys, like, you know, we're trying to communicate this with the solar companies, but I think it's really hard for you guys to like back schedule, basically like you know, have to wait an extra month before you go do the installation. I think that's probably not much of your normal procedure. So, I
Well,
mean,
it's a
we're
15
communicating with the homeowners. Oh, go ahead.
It's a 15% down deposit on the quote. So you just basically need to send the homeowner a quote, then they can get access to that 15%, right? And then what you're saying. So
Okay.
yeah, that's why we're trying to like put ducks have to be in a row and it has to just go bing bang boom, like we don't, right? So it's a neat.
Yeah, so they need to pay for 15% of the installation up front in order to qualify for the full purchase price.
No, so how it works is like they apply for the loan program, and then based on the quote, so if you guys give them a quote saying that you require 15% down, then they upload that quote, and they can receive that 15% from CMHC like much quicker.
Okay.
And then that 15% can get paid to you guys, but it has to be included in the quote.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and then they're responsible for, like, if you guys require them to like pay fully upfront, really, or whatever, like they can receive that deposit, pay the deposit, and then whatever the financing terms are for
Yeah,
you
we're
guys,
typically
they have to figure
a quarter,
Okay.
but we can probably adjust that in order for these specific cases where they want to access the loan.
Okay.
We could have a different terms, I guess.
Yeah, right. That's great. So yeah, I mean, depending on how fast people are getting access to these loans, I'm not sure how quickly it's actually being delivered, but that might work out for them.
Okay.
Basically, not to have to foot the bill for 3 months or whatever.
Anything in regards to commercial that you guys know of, and commercial loans or grants or greener commercial building?
Yeah, I'm aware of, I'm not very familiar with, but I'm aware of some grants through like the Alberta government specifically, and it's very, very similar layout as the residential grants. So I'm forgetting now what it's called, but I can send that to you once I remember.
MCAA.
Okay, there you go.
MCAA.
Yeah, so it's basically like the same kind of idea with like the documentation. I believe there is also required to be like some sort of evaluation beforehand, but it might be an ASHRAE evaluation for commercial buildings. So definitely worth looking into. Yeah.
We're all residential mostly here, so.
Okay,
Yes.
Gotcha. It seems like demand for batteries is increasing based on my meetings with potential solar, residential solar installations. Speaking on that resiliency grant, maybe I'll just look back on this meeting if you guys are recording it, but I haven't heard of that before, so.
You know what, Carter? I've got a bit of like a cheat sheet that I can send you. It's a PDF, but just like a 1-page PDF that I can send to you with all that information on it.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay. Yeah, because that's interesting. I'm assuming you work with a little bit more rural.
Yeah, it is, and just of course recently the weather just rolled through southern Alberta is pretty bad, and we haven't lost a panel to hail since 2007, and we've finally lost a couple this past storm on irrigation pivots on some farming sites.
Wow.
So yeah, like we're pretty lucky with our grid in Medicine Hat that we don't have too many blackouts, but for sure in the rural communities surrounding us, it seems to be a more key topic in my consultations, and just having, obviously they cost a lot of money, and grid tied or the inverters that pair with home energy solutions are a little more costly. So if there is a grant, that would be worthwhile to look at for a lot of these cases.
If you know the hail's coming, just get them to have a box of old thick blankets just to throw it over or something.
Yeah.
It's just ground mounted.
Well, again, it hasn't been an issue, and we've done carports at some car dealerships in the area, and the Telespark Science Center in Calgary, and even those are fine. It was just for whatever reason the farmers got it really bad this past week or 10 days ago.
Yeah.
And even still, it was only about 6 panels in the whole array of about 100. So still, they held up pretty well, but to lose 6 of them was still something we haven't dealt with before. But they should be covered under warranty. It's just a bit of a nuisance more than anything.
For sure.
Have to send a truck and a crew out there and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the mileage to go tear them down and reconnect everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we've got. Do you have any other questions? Go ahead.
I didn't really have too much more, just unless you guys are hearing of anything else coming in the pipeline in regards to federal grants or anything. I know they don't really like to say much until they're rolled out, but
yeah. Well, what I can do, I've gathered a bunch of this information before, so I'll send it your way, and then just feel free to reach out if you've got any questions or if you've got any concerns or you're noticing anything about this loan program. We're always happy to hear what's going on out there in the real world, because we're always before all of that stuff happens. So
yeah, it seems like as a solar salesperson or installer, they come to you first, and then you're kind of the point of contact throughout the entire installation. So when they don't hear back from, for example, Medicine Hat, you have to do system size reviews through the city to get a maximum allowable system size. And just all those processes with microgen applications, everything. If you're the guy that they constantly bug when they don't hear back from things, or why is my government money not here yet, or why is my Greener Homes grant not processed yet? They always ask you first.
Yeah.
Then I usually go to my whatever Vertitech auditor or rep or some of the other companies we use, but yeah, no, I'm happy to provide any feedback I can.
You need a secretary.
Yeah, exactly.
And all that.
Do you guys have any referral programs or fees if they
so
we decide to choose VT Group over your competitors out there?
Absolutely.
That's a good question. Yeah, so definitely that's something that you and I can talk about for sure. We can't recommend you guys, but of course we can work with you, and then on the other side we could definitely set something up. So I've recently, with a couple of other solar installers or solar companies, we've set up like a portal, basically a portal specifically for you guys, so that you can just upload the homeowner information, so their name, their address, and then just any notes that you might have, like urgent or email only or whatever, and their contact information. And we basically, the booking team directly, like, you guys basically work on the same sheet, and you can like live update the sheet together. So our booking team will contact them. So if that's something
specifically for booking home energy assessments, like to know that we can get them looked after sooner, rather than just if they call on their own and they have no relation to us kind of deal. Sometimes
exactly.
they're booking 3 weeks or 4 weeks out. I know you guys have been really good usually at looking after people within a week or 2 weeks, but
we do our best. We're pretty busy down south, but we do have some great energy advisors out in the rural area that are dependent contractors. So are dedicated, I should say, to dedicated contractors. So if that's something that's of interest to your company, why don't you we can talk more about that, and we'll set that up for you guys.
Okay, sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. You got a little one-on-one, and
I really appreciate it. It was nice chatting with you guys, and look forward to working with you more in the future.
Likewise, Carter. Thanks.
Okay, take care.
All right. Thanks, Adam. That was great.
Hey, are we still recording? Do you have 5 minutes?